Hey everybody, welcome back. These are some awful, truly awful dates that gave me secondhand embarrassment. Compilation. First post is by Whimzilly. Am I the a-hole for not making plans for my anniversary and then not engaging in my husband's plans? My husband, 42 male, we'll call him Grant, and I, 36 female, have been married for 17 years. I was 19 when we got married. We've been through a lot in our marriage, several moves, many job losses, losing our house, miscarriage, lots of ups and downs. Every anniversary, I've always looked forward to celebrating, and I've been the one to make the plans. Every time? Each year, I think his lack of thought and care into our anniversary has slowly been grating on me. I know that if I don't plan something, nothing will happen. Seriously? Bombastic side eye. A good example was that one year I was sick and a couple weeks prior to our anniversary and completely forgot to plan anything. The day came and I only managed to plan a meal at home and some games. He was so uncomfortable and apologetic all evening because he didn't plan anything and acted like a wounded puppy that needed consoling. Why is he wounded? Because you were sick and had to plan the anniversary. This year has been turbulent. We just had our third baby who's dealing with some serious medical issues. Oh, sorry to hear. I had to stop homeschooling and send our older two kids to school because of the major load I'm having to carry with my baby. My family and my husband have been pressuring me to get a part-time job, saying it would be good for me and my mental health to get out and get away, not to mention how it would help our finances. My husband keeps telling me. Just do it! This last week, my emotional support cat died. She was my anchor and my best friend. I told my husband I was too drained and too exhausted to plan anything for our anniversary, so if anything was going to happen, he needed to plan it this year. We're setting boundaries, we're setting expectations, but unfortunately, especially when people haven't had to pull their weight or respect boundaries in the past, might not go over so well. He didn't come home until 6:30 p.m. Nothing was planned, as you could guess. I mean, I didn't want to guess that, but I'm not surprised. We sat awkwardly on the couch. He looked like a disheveled puppy. He asked me if I wanted to do something like a game or have ice cream or, anything. If you have ideas. If you have ideas? So you would effectively have to come up with the idea to plan the anniversary. I just couldn't even say anything. I was hurting and upset. Dead cat, sick baby that can't walk, new job. I don't want to start in a couple of days. I just told him I was tired and wanted to crash. I said I've been dealing with so much and I can't deal with spending the whole evening trying to make something out of nothing tonight. I think a good husband not only plans anniversaries and dates for you, but especially when you're very overloaded with life and overextended, he goes out of his way, and it's not even like out of your way. It's common decency to do something nice for your partner when they're having a bad time. I'm not trying to compare, but this is the first time that I've been in a relationship where I'm having let's say a really bad week, and Mike will just get me flowers just because it makes me feel better, and he knows that. And just that small thing makes me feel super, super supported. Doesn't take a lot of effort, honestly. It really doesn't. You don't have to go and plan something that takes a lot of money. He can cook you a steak, get you some nice flowers, something thoughtful, just to show that he thought about it. He was so upset at me, saying I wasn't helping the night by being all stressed out and grumpy. Ugh. He said he didn't know what to do or plan since I said I didn't want to this year. He was trying, and I was just disappointing him by not engaging in his efforts. What did he plan exactly, though? Trying implies actually doing something. Flowers, chocolates, a nice, thoughtful gift that he puts together for you, a dinner that he cooks for you or orders for you so that you don't have to lift a finger. He getting lazy. This is weaponized incompetence, bestie. I unloaded on him. Scheduling 4 specialists and in-home therapy for our 10-month-old is effort. Driving him to appointments and blood work and PT is effort. Getting a job that I don't want because we need extra income to help with all the medical costs is effort. Helping the kids navigate the loss of our cat is effort. Cleaning, cooking, planning, nurturing from the moment I wake up to when I fall asleep. I have to put in 110% effort. Otherwise, this family would completely fall apart. He was so hurt. Hurt about what? Hurt that you're doing all of these things for him and doesn't show appreciation? He does this thing when I get upset at him where he basically stands up all slumped over, like a kid being punished or something, and then starts falling over himself like a martyr.
It's all my fault. I'm doing everything wrong all the time. I'm such a bad husband.
You are. But guess what? Instead of playing the victim and feeling sorry for yourself, all of that can easily fix if you just try. And actually do. Don't just try and say you tried. Do it. It's not that hard. If he wanted to, he would. Hate to say it. I'm sorry. This is never what I want out of these moments. I'll sigh and then he'll just move on from the conversation like it's all okay now. That's him acting. He's not actually sad. He's like, that worked. Okay, let's move on. Oh, she feels guilty now. Okay, well, let's forget about it then. God, I hate victim mentality. I didn't know whether or not I wanted to share this. It is rather controversial, but I've been reading this book about ancient Greek philosophy book about victim mentality. And when you think about a victim, I want you to picture a baby. A baby is absolutely helpless in this world. Therefore, it deserves all of the attention, all of the care, all of the love. It's actually a baby, when you think about it, has a lot of power over people, over everyone that's around it, right? They will stop everything they're doing to attend to the baby's needs because it's helpless. Now I want you to picture someone who plays the victim card. They know by playing that card, they have the power. It's a way for people to have upper hands on other people, whether it's in disagreements or in life. It's a power card because being the victim, you then have to tend to that victim's needs, tiptoe around their emotions, walk on eggshells. So it's an interesting analogy. It's different if you are actually a victim. Like if you actually have really horrible things happening to you, you really genuinely cannot help it. I'm not talking about that. That is a separate conversation. What I'm talking about are people who play the victim because they know that that's how they can get the upper hand.
I'll be the victim all your life.
Very interesting book. If you guys are interested in reading it, I think it's called The Courage to be Disliked. I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but it's interesting. He seems to think taking the blame is what fixes problems, which it obviously doesn't. Putting in effort, engaging on a genuine level, showing me that he cares, and some amount of his mental capacity goes toward our marriage and our relationship. But instead, it's self-deprivation and an awkward night on the couch. Happy anniversary. It takes less effort to play the victim than it does to actually show up in someone's life. So I'm asking, am I the a-hole here because I didn't engage in his efforts for our anniversary? What efforts? I thought you were gonna say that he made some crappy plans, but no, there was literally no effort whatsoever. I wish I could muster some sort of bubbliness or fun, but I just wanna cry and scream. Bubbliness and fun is my job. I got you. Honestly, I don't even want him to come home from work today. The idea of him being around or even touching me makes me gag and wants to scream. You kind of have a bit of a relationship where you're the mother and he's the child. He's kind of throwing temper tantrums and you're taking care of him. And I think the idea of having to mother your husband makes you not attracted to him in the end. You didn't do anything, in my opinion. He did all the things by doing absolutely nothing. So in my opinion, you are not the a-hole, but let's see what Reddit had to say. Not the a-hole. The next time he starts in with the it's all my fault BS, agree with him. He's trying to get you to back down so he can continue being crappy. Stop backing down. It's all my fault gets mostly, yeah, you need to step up and help more. I do everything wrong all the time gets, well, then learn from your mistakes. I'm such a bad husband gets sometimes, yeah. He's going to flip to pissed off when his little wounded puppy act doesn't get to the response he wants. Hold him accountable. This is a tactic called victim mentality. I'm glad we're all on the same page. I guess I don't know what that means or looks like. As another person mentioned, I guess me being 19 when we married probably doesn't help my understanding of what's normal in a marriage. My mom was a single mom, so dad was out of the picture. It's actually quite common. I would almost go as far as to say common doesn't equal normal. The fact that it is so common means it kind of is normal for someone to play the victim. I've noticed this in relationships when I've tried to confront people and tell them that they're hurting me. I never feel satisfied by what they say. Either they gaslight or if they don't gaslight, they play the victim. Usually they play the victim first, and then when that tactic doesn't work, then they gaslight, which is kind of they're blaming you, which he kind of did, honestly. I feel like he did kind of blame you. Yeah, the victim thing is just sort of, they flip-flop between the gaslighting and the victim. It's a tactic to get the upper hand. And it doesn't always mean that someone's a narcissist. It kind of goes back to even just being a child and getting in trouble. You're kind of just navigating people's childhood trauma at this point. It's kind of them reverting back to when they were a kid and they got in trouble and they're crying and, they have to go for a timeout and that kind of thing. In adulthood, they never learn how to take accountability, if that makes sense. I just wish people knew that taking accountability does not equal weakness. In fact, it's like the one thing that would actually mend the relationship, and you guys would be stronger in the end. But for whatever reason, people don't like admitting fault, whether that's they appear weak, but it's actually very, very common. So we do have an update. I appreciate everyone's comments on my original post. I have so much to think about and consider. I never would have tried to consider my own feelings and well-being if it wasn't for you all and our potato queen who has made this Reddit a grand empire of solidarity. My husband found my Reddit post. OT! He told me after everything went down tonight. I don't know how, but he did. He came home very early from work. I was reading through everyone's posts crying while nursing the baby. He told me he was sorry that he had major plans for today, but has kept it a secret in order to surprise me. Am I happy or am I sad? Oh no, this next sentence makes me concerned. I bet you guys can imagine where this is going. I told him I didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. I want to lay in bed and be left alone for a while. I haven't properly grieved my cat. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to do so. And I just wanted time. He did the pouty upset thing, going on about all the plans he had for tonight and how he really wanted me to go out with him. I said I didn't really want to. He replied with, well, cute puppy face sadness.
I guess I can reschedule for another day if you absolutely won't go.
I did get you gifts. I wiped my tears and said, I guess I have to go. I'd rather deal with going out than you acting like a miserable child for the next week, resenting me for ruining everything. Hang on a second. Did he actually have plans this whole time? Why didn't he just do this on your anniversary? It's almost like he planned this afterward. I don't know. I don't trust that. He made plans for my mother to watch my kids. We dropped them off and headed to a nice restaurant in time for our reservation. I was angry. Well, he could have avoided that if he actually did something for your actual anniversary. I was holding it in. I felt that kind of controlled rage. In control not to explode, but equally in control to go off. I think the anger in everyone's comments awakened my sixth sense because I knew something was off. We arrived and he dropped me off at the door so he could park. I went inside and told him we had a reservation under Grant. The hostess was kind and nodded, grabbing the menus. She looked at me. I guess I had that mad as hell that I was there look, and she sighed and asked if I was okay. I said, would you mind looking at what time and day the reservation was made? She did. And guess what? He made the reservation at 12 p.m. today. There it is. She said, missed birthday? I said, nope, 17-year anniversary today. I guess this is what weeks of planning looks like. She felt terrible for me and sat me at the booth. I guess our waitress picked up on the vibes because she gently asked if I was okay. I said, nope, not at all. She brought me a glass of wine on the house. See? Effort. A small amount of effort, but it goes a long way, doesn't it? It's acknowledging your feelings. It's like, let me just do something to just let you know that I care. Ain't that difficult? So I sat across from this man for most of dinner. I said, wow, what a nice place. Was it hard to get a reservation here? He said,
oh yeah. Especially around dinner, which is why I had to schedule a little earlier. Even then, it was several days in advance to get this spot.
I nodded. Yep. Okay. I was livid. Wow, that's so cool to hear. You know, I had an interesting version from the hostess. She informed me that you didn't make the reservation until 12 p.m. today. Interesting. He said,
oh, well, I mean, I made it through an app. I never used it, so maybe it takes a while to process or something. I guess maybe it wasn't a week, but like 3 days or something.
I glared at him. No. 12 p.m. today, Grant. Today. You lied to my face and I caught you with receipts. He stammered for a little bit and then went totally silent and sullen. He finally admitted it, but informed me that everything else was pre-planned. The gifts, the roses. Nope, it wasn't. I managed to sneak his phone away and double-checked. The roses were day-old clearance ones from Target on the way home, and the other gifts were today as well. This man lied to my face not only once, but twice. I don't even want to imagine what else there is because I can't emotionally handle it. Prior to this Reddit, I never would have suspected. Past me would have praised him and been so happy to even be considered. I'm so thankful you all helped me see the truth. I don't know what to tell you, bestie, but I don't love this for you. I'm glad that you called him on his lie. I really am. He knows what to do to make you happy. He just doesn't want to. He would only do it when he's in trouble. Come on, let's just treat each other with respect and be nice to each other in our relationships. Because what the hell are they for anyway? If you don't have a partner that helps you and takes care of you and makes you feel heard, what the are they for? You're better off alone. Just saying. You are not the a-hole, my dear. Watch that one. We're not going to tell them to get divorced. She knows what she's willing to do.
Okay, you can dump him now.
Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend we should break up after 7 years together over this. Me, 25 female, and my boyfriend, 25 male, have been together for 7 years now, 8 in March 2025. We started dating in high school, and in no time, he moved into my house. We had a lot of issues throughout our relationship, but nothing we couldn't talk through. We got engaged in 2022. We haven't started planning yet, but we're saving for a small wedding in the future. About 2 years ago, he started working in a law firm. Because of his new schedule, we have more time to spend together. Since his last job had a mall schedule from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Everything was going great, but a year ago, management decided to change his boss. Before it was a female, and now it was a male in his 40s. After this, I started noticing some changes in his behavior. He stopped being caring and sweet, and now acted a little more serious and mature, in his own words. What does that mean? Mature?
This is how a man behaves. Not nice to women.
I confronted him about this, and he only said it was time he started being more realistic and less optimistic. I told him that if it felt right to him, then okay, but he didn't have to be less loving. A few months ago, he started making some jokes, like when he came home and he said,
Why is my dinner not ready? It should be done by now.
his boss is a red pill guy, eh?
Or the dirty clothes basket is full. Your job is to keep my clothes clean. You are the woman. You should be in the kitchen. Get up and make me a sandwich.
You get the picture. I know the type. Whenever he makes these type of comments, I confronted him and he just said they were just jokes. And I was overreacting. I wouldn't call that an overreaction. I'd be like, what the dude? Why are you being mean? Since when are you like this? I'm sorry, I did not sign up for this. Recently, these jokes escalated and now are more misogynistic.
You should see how many women in my job like me.
Okay, go get him.
If you don't come with me to this, then I should find a replacement.
Go ahead.
If we ever break up, I know it would be easy for me to find a new girlfriend.
And stuff like that. By now, I just told him to pack his stuff and leave if he felt that way. But again, he said they were just jokes. No one's laughing. We both work. I work as a dog groomer and cover most of the bills in our house, including our food.
Hang on a second. Hold on a hot second. You mean to tell me that this man has an attitude with you and thinks he's this big man, big macho guy, and you're the one that's paying for everything? How are you not embarrassed?
Bro, seriously? Okay, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna have that mentality, at least be footing the bill, okay? No one should have that mentality, even if they are footing the bill. Even more audacity than someone who is literally paying for everything. If he wants a traditional woman and he wants to be a traditional man, then he needs to pay up. He pays for his car, internet, and dog food. Last time he made this kind of joke, I lost it on him and said that in any case, he should be the one in the kitchen since I pretty much covered the provider role, period. Good luck finding someone who pays for everything and does house chores and some mean stuff. He was taken aback and said it was just a joke and I should be a good sport. He wasn't trying to hurt me, but was just teasing. Okay, you've literally said to him multiple times that you don't find these jokes funny. He keeps crossing boundaries and making you feel bad when he's the one that ain't. A month ago, I offered to give him a ride when he got off work. Since his car was in the mechanic, he said that his boss was joining us too, and his wife. Oh, interesting to see their dynamic. First, I picked him and his boss up, and on our way to pick up his wife, his boss started making the same kind of jokes, and the two of them were laughing like they were in high school or something. When his boss noticed I was not laughing and asked me about it, I just said that nothing they had just said was funny, but rude. After that, the car ride was pretty quiet. We had a big argument after that, and he apologized for making this inappropriate joke that were funny at work, but not in our house. It's literally not funny. I understand that it's his boss. If there are people that are in your life that are going around saying those types of things that are offensive to your wife, if your immediate instinct is not to stick up for her, I don't know. I know it's his boss, but like he also doesn't have to repeat those jokes and try to like mirror him. He understood where I was coming from. After this, the jokes stopped. Good. Last week, it was one of his work colleagues' birthdays, and they all decided to go out and celebrate. Partners are not ever invited to any of these celebrations, which I find weird, and I asked my boyfriend about it. He just said that their colleagues didn't want their wives or husbands there because there were other people involved and their partners would think badly of them, aka cheating. Oh, you all sound like a lovely bunch. But he assured me that he was different and would never do any of that. I mean, you're kind of like participating. You're kind of like, I know bros before whatever, but like also not all guys have that mentality. I can tell you right now, genuinely, the good ones all hang out together because they all have the same mentality. And all the bad ones hang out together because they all have the same mentality. Anyways, last week they went out and my boyfriend came the next day at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m.? What was he doing till then? He didn't answer any of my messages, and whenever I called, he said he was staying a little while longer and then would leave, which he never did. He cheated. Anytime they go out, he arrives home at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. This happens every month or every 2 months. He told me that he sees nothing wrong with it since it's not every week, but I believe he should come home at a reasonable hour. And if he just keeps doing this, then we should break up and he can do whatever he likes without me bothering him. He's cheating, like he is. He even said when he said, oh, there's so many girls that like me at work. He believes I'm overreacting, but in nights like that, I don't know where he is, what he's doing, and who he's with. And whenever I call to check on him, he just laughs it off. It's hard to believe that everyone cheats except him, even when he started making jokes like the one I said before. I realize his boss and coworkers have a big influence on him and even pick fights with me because he thinks he's 100% right and I'm the one being dramatic. I've seen texts where they tell him some other girl's asking for information about him and that he should give it a go. He laughs it off and never replies, but I believe that with enough influence, he will give in. Again, we talked about this and he just tells me to trust him. I told him if he arrives home late one more time, I'm going to break up with him. He reluctantly agreed but told me I was overreacting. I think that it's entirely fair to not want your partner out all night without you. I think that's something that you can do when you're single. When you're in a relationship and you're not with your partner, you're not answering your phone, you're not communicating, you're doing bad things. In my opinion, you are not the a-hole, but let's see what everybody else had to say. Not the a-hole. You've been together since high school. It looks like you're growing into the person you want to be, and he's growing into the unfortunate douchebag he wants to be. I believe you've outgrown him. Forget about the sunk cost of time and money you've spent on him. Cut your losses. Next. Order in the court. Absolutely this. You're growing into two different people. Go your separate ways. He will not improve. I mean, he might improve if you leave him. I'm sorry, this kind of mentality as a guy, it just doesn't work. Like, I'm sorry. It only works if you're single. And even then, you're gonna get the reputation of being this like douchebag. Yes, people feel like they have to stick it out or have committed so much time and it's hard to imagine yourself breaking up the relationship. Ask me how I know. The sooner you end it though, the sooner you can move on. And the feeling is freedom. I understand that you've been with this person for a while. So you've been engaged for 3 years. You haven't started planning yet. Run. Text me. Aren't you engaged? Yes, he is. Thanks. La 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 la. Are we referring to ourselves in the omniscient narrative? Like, yes, he is. He is engaged. He, Almighty One, is engaged.
What are you doing in my DMs then? I was just testing you.
29 male caught girlfriend, 24 female sending messages to other dudes twice. I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. Sometime around June of 2012, my girlfriend was outside working on something with company we had over and left her phone in the kitchen. She got a text message and I saw it. It was from this dude she told me she used to hook up with and still pesters her from time to time. We'll call him Eric. Anyway, I don't know why, but I can't resist. I open the text and he's saying something about wanting to see her. She has an iPhone so I can see the whole previous text conversations. I don't even have to scroll back and I can see that she's been telling this dude about how much she's been thinking about him. I'm infuriated at this point. When she and our friend come back in, I'm cold and distant and she immediately picks up on it. When our friend goes into the bathroom, she asks me what's up and I tell her we need to talk that night. I say something about, I saw the text you've been sending to your friend Eric. That night, she tries to avoid talking about it. She frequently does this when we have disagreements, just shuts down and doesn't want to talk. Sometimes she'll leave the apartment altogether. Anyway, I tell her that she's at least going to listen. I tell her how I don't appreciate being lied to, being cheated on, and this will not fly. She's in tears the whole time. She explains how it will never happen again and I decide to forgive her and move on with our relationship. Time goes by and things are back to normal. I moved on and everything seems okay. Oh, I know where this is going because it was in the title.
I just cracked this case.
The other night though, she had her phone charging in the bathroom and she gets a text message. This one from another dude she told me has been trying to get with her, but doesn't have any history with. I decide to check it again. Yep, same stuff. He's trying to get some and she's going into details on how she can't put any of that in the video. But just know it's a little bit spicy.
Let me make sure we're not talking about food.
Meanwhile, we haven't been intimate since mid-December. I still haven't said anything about seeing this one. I'm pretty well pissed and not sure what to do. Really? You have no clue what you should do in this situation? Things are complicated because a bunch of other stuff factors into our relationship. We live together. I lost my job in November. I can't afford a place by myself. Okay, I see. She also does not have a car and uses one of my 2 vehicles to get to and from her workplace and probably these dudes' houses.
Boom. Roasted.
We've been dating for 3 years and have acquired a bunch of stuff together, making that difficult as well. People get divorced all the time. Figure it out. I know she hasn't done anything with either of these guys because both of them live far away out of state. Both of them are guys from her high school and that's how she knows them. I'm fairly sure she wouldn't even really consider doing anything with them because, to be honest, she's quite a bit larger than she was in high school and is ashamed of that. She doesn't post pictures on Facebook and won't let her picture be taken/tagged and only shows face shots. Interesting take. The thing is, I do love this girl and I want to forgive her again, but I don't want to look like the schmuck who keeps falling for this BS time and time again. We talk about having a future together in marriage, but I don't want to have to worry about her with other dudes all the time. That's where you folks come in. I don't know what I want, but I'm here to take it. Advice, opinions, next steps, even advice on how to confront her on this latest string of text messages. I had the exact same thought that this first comment says. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Don't forgive a cheater. They will keep cheating.
And that's a fact.
I understand that you love this person, but just because she hasn't actually acted on it, you don't know that for sure, by the way. But just because, as you say, she hasn't acted on it, that doesn't mean that she isn't cheating. Based on, I asked you guys in a video a little while back if you thought that talking to other people without actually doing anything with them was cheating. Most of you said, yes, it is cheating. If the intent there is to cheat, or if they're lying about it or hiding it from their partner, then it's cheating. I get that it's hard and it's inconvenient to end a relationship where you share a lot and you love the person, but she's just gonna keep doing it. She clearly doesn't really care if you catch her or not because she's sloppy about it. God, at least be good at cheating. Jeez. That is a joke. That's a joke.
Uh-oh.
TJ, 30 years old, here in Austin working. Don't be weird. Want to meet new people and go have a drink or something fun. Swipe right. Female dogs. Well, when you say it like that, you drive a hard bargain. Dancy, 26 years old. Hey, pretty girls. Just wanted to warn you about my husband, TJ, who's on here. I'm divorcing this piece of poop, but his name is Travis and not TJ, and he's 38, not 30. Ooh. He's got 2 kids, neither that he takes care of. Oh, and I have a boutique, so if you want to shop here, here's the link. That is what's up. We love an entrepreneurial queen. I love that she took this, obviously something that would be very upsetting, and turned it into an opportunity. Love that for you, babe.
That's just smart branding.
And I bet you anything, you got a lot of business. Girl got caught cheating on her fiance, so he went into her Hinge app and changed her prompts. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. My most irrational fear is my fiance catching me. I'm the type of texter who actively cheats on their fiance. Dang, Lauren. Sounds like he's caught you red-handed. This is my wife and son who I'm cheating on using this app. Wow. You brought the kid into it, didn't you? You know what? It definitely adds, weight, doesn't it? I'm a cheating a-hole with a girlfriend who takes care of our 2 kids while I'm on Tinder cheating. Smiley face. Hee hee. Good morning. How are you today? Sorry, my Tinder is playing up and I only just got it sorted. Smiley face. What's been happening? Really? Are you sure that your Tinder's not working properly? Or, could you not really look at your Tinder because your girlfriend was around? So sorry. Been so busy. Hiding my phone in the bathroom.
How did you know that?
Hi, this is Nathan's girlfriend. I just found his Tinder and seen that he's cheated on me with hundreds of women off of here. Just to let you know, he isn't the nice guy he seems. And that's the 2. God, people really be out here doing stupid things. All your spouse has to do is look at your phone. Look to see if you have Tinder. It takes 2 seconds. Go on your Tinder and then see if you've been texting anyone. And also, another thing that I don't understand is when you live in a city with a lot of people, there is the chance that people you know will be on that dating app as well. People you know who also know that you're in a relationship, who will then find you and then tell your spouse. Are you dumb? Clearly. Dumb and a cheater. Oh, God. I love these exes that take a hold of the accounts. I had a girlfriend until she found my Tinder profile. Let's just say I'm a serial cheat and spend most of my time looking in the mirror. I like to check myself out at least 30 times a day. I can't tell the truth. I have no sense of humor and I'm just a general butthole. But on the plus side, I'm actually single now. Anyone want me? Anyone?
I see this as an absolute win.
P.S. ladies, if you love a guy who can't keep it in their pants, and then this is the guy for you. Love the ex.
Oh, the pettiness is just wonderful. I love this for you ladies. I hope I never have to do this, but if I do, I will take lessons from you.
Wow, are you fishing in your profile pic, Jordan? What is that? What are you holding? Oh, wow. That's not cliche. Love to laugh and have fun. I have a 3-year-old boy who's the best thing in the world. I also have a loyal girlfriend. See my alternative profile pics over 2 years that I've just been cheating on for months, and she found my Tinder profile. Swipe right if you want to be a match or go on a date with a cheating D-bag. Tell everyone I graduated from the U of U, but I never finished. I lie to everyone about it. Hashtag I'm screwed. No one is who they say they are on Tinder. My name's George and I have STDs I like to share. If you want a little itch, swipe right. Oh yes, can't wait. Love a little itch. Love that for us. My hobbies include lying and cheating on my girlfriend who I've been with for years and actually proposed to a couple of weeks ago. So I guess my fiance, but I just want to have a bit of fun while I'm in Melbourne. Who wants an itch? You want an itch? Come on, let's get some itch.
Come on, homie. No?
I'm good. Honestly, at this point, going on dating apps is just basically like, do I want an STD? Yes. Yeah, I'll take some STDs from that guy. Sure, yeah, okay, sure, yep, and this one too. That's literally what it is now.
That's what she said, not me.
Hey, my name is Mike and I'm married with 2 kids. My wife found my profile, if you can't tell, and I don't know yet that she's talking on the phone right now with one of my girls and is leaving me. I'm a piece of poop who doesn't give a flying poop. I have been talking and cheating so long, don't be sad if I don't remember your name because I send the same generic stuff to all of you girls. Feel free to blow me up with hate mail. I love that. Feel free. Gladly. They really do be sending the same generic to everyone, don't they? The least amount of effort is what you can expect.
But that's how it works!
I physically my ex-boyfriend, then lied and told him I was pregnant in a pathetic attempt to keep him with me. And now you're on Tinder, I see, Roxy.
Coincidence? I think not!
Is that your real name? Something tells me it might not be. Word of advice, if you're gonna cheat, make sure there's no evidence. Or you could just not cheat, that works too. But then again, I wouldn't be able to make fun of you in videos.
My best friend of 7 years has very expensive taste. I've always bought her fancy and luxurious gifts, and she's the happiest when I do so. No, I never want to date her or she to date me. It's just a thing we did, and we were always close platonically. I do the same thing for my male friends as well if they had expensive taste. My girlfriend of 2 years never showed or implied that she has expensive taste, so I just bought her some regular things because I knew she'd be happy and grateful either way. I didn't have to break the bank to make her happy, and I really love her for that. But recently she raised a concern to me about how it seems very weird and dismissive and favoritist of how I put so much effort into my best friend's gifts than I put into hers. She says she's feeling I favor my best friend over her because I put more thought and research on getting her the perfect gift, while to my girlfriend she assumes I just get the first thing I see and I'm just done with it. I explained to her that I buy her more random gifts because I know she doesn't prefer something specific and she'd be grateful even if I gifted her a chocolate. She told me that's the problem and I never even thought of putting effort in for her and that I'm simply not paying attention. It never occurred to me that way. Apparently she's been trying to speak about this but claims I never get it and she feels I ignore her on purpose and favor my girl best friend over her. Am I the a-hole?
Jerk off!
I mean, just because your girlfriend doesn't show that she would prefer a special gift that was, you know, had a lot of thought put into it, maybe cost a little more money. I'm sure she's grateful for all the gifts that you give her, but it doesn't mean that she wouldn't appreciate a better gift. And it is weird that you buy your friend a better gift than her. Like, I'm sorry, but it really is. It's really weird. I think that I would probably have a problem with it too. It's not to say that I expect an expensive gift. If my boyfriend can't afford it, then that's totally fine. I'm not asking anyone to break the bank for me if they can't afford a gift. The thought really does count in that scenario. But if you can afford it and you're giving other people nice gifts and you're not giving, like, what are you getting her? Are you getting her like socks and like define random gifts, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm sorry, but you're an a-hole. You're an a-hole. Ladies, if he wanted to, he would. But let's see how Reddit feels about this. So because your friend is a superficial person that only likes expensive things, you reward her by taking a lot of time and care into thinking about what gift to give her and spend a lot of resources. And because your girlfriend appreciates more the thought behind the present and is not so worried about the price, you punish her by not thinking much about what you give to her and also get her something cheap because you like that she doesn't make you break the bank. I hope the way I express this makes it clear to you how she feels about the situation. You don't have to spend gazillions on the presents for your girlfriend, but you do need to be thoughtful because she is a nice person that actually cares about the thought behind the present more than the present. You're the a-hole. I was in a relationship with someone like OP and yep, it sucks and really shows who he prioritizes and cares about. For our 1 year, I spent a week on a handmade illustrated book filled with stories he told me from his childhood. He got me nothing because I probably wouldn't like it, but always made sure no matter where we went that he picked up his girl best friend a knick-knack or gift to let her know he was thinking about her. I was heartbroken and even more hurt by him not even trying. I hope this girl finds someone who prioritizes her and doesn't treat her as secondary. OP is 100% the a-hole. See, the thing is like when people tell you, oh, you probably won't like it. Oh, I don't know what you like, blah, blah, blah. Like it's honestly the case with a lot of people that are close to you. Family tends to not know what you like. Boyfriends, girlfriends tend to not know what you like. But it just kind of shows that you're just not listening. You know what I mean? We talk about what we like a lot. Doesn't matter who you are. It could be the boyfriend, it could be the girlfriend, or anything in between. It just means that you're really not listening to what we're saying. Or you just don't care. All right. It is decided. You are the a-hole. Shh. I don't want to hear any more about it. No more excuses. If you make an excuse for the OP, then that means that you need to listen more. Am I the a-hole for ditching my wife at the mall because she was taking too long? Go on. I'm a 34-year-old man and my wife is 29. We've been married for 5 years. Since we started dating, she's always taken her sweet time doing everything. Getting dressed, doing her makeup, eating, whatever it is, she takes forever. Ugh, I know the feeling. And then they always say something like, better late than ugly. And you're like, we have been waiting an hour for you. And you still ugly. I'm just kidding. I'm generally a patient person, but I get extremely anxious when I'm late for something. Same here. With a scheduled starting time. Alone, I've never been late for anything. With her in tow, I'm late for everything. The most frustrating thing is that she seemingly has no ability to comprehend that she's making people wait. If I even suggest that she moves a little faster, she gets really defensive. A few years ago, one of her best friends dumped her because she was tired of her chronic lateness. Wow, that's kind of extreme, but you know what? I'm not mad about it. Last night, we went to see a movie. Getting to the mall before the movie started was a battle itself, but miraculously, with the prospect of doing some shopping before it, she was able to gather her necessary belongings and get there with time to spare. She started shopping while I more or less followed her until it was about time to go to the theater. When I told her this, she was talking to a sales clerk about the clothes that she wanted to buy, and she told me to hang on for a second. As usual, hang on meant I have absolutely no concern about your needs because I'm doing my own thing right now, and anything other than what I want to do is out of the question. I waited around for a couple more minutes until she started taking jeans off the shelves to try on new combinations. The preview had already started. I told her again and she said we can just skip the previews. At this point, I just walked away, which she naturally didn't notice. I turned off my phone and enjoyed the movie myself. As a side note, I missed a few minutes of it waiting for her, standing in line and making my way to the theater. On my way to the theater, I saw her on a bench in the lobby beside herself because I ditched her. I honestly didn't feel bad at all, and I told her that I'd do it again. This made her more upset, and finally we had an awkward drive home. Apparently, she was actually looking forward to the movie too. Was I the a-hole in this situation? I felt it was supposed to be tough love, but she seemed really hurt. As someone who also cannot understand people who are chronically late, to me, it just seems like people just don't care about other people's time. The other day, I was like, on my bed, chilling. I was like, okay, I'm gonna film a TikTok. And I sat there, filmed a TikTok for half an hour, and I was still not late because I was fully aware of what time I was supposed to be there, how long it would take to get there, etc., etc. So the fact that people are chronically late just means that they do not care about wasting other people's time. They're not trying to be on time at all. You get my drift?
Whatever. I'll do what I want.
I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. I think people that are chronically late get used to being super late and not being called out for it. Not the a-hole. This is what you have to do moving forward. Tell her that you're leaving in 15 minutes and follow through. One morning, then go. Stop discussing and explaining, start showing. Though in the future, send a text and say, I'm at the movie and I'm sitting center right, turn phone off now. Okay, I agree with this. I think that turning the phone off was sucky. Not gonna lie. It's not the worst thing you could have done. I understand that you were annoyed. So maybe just let her know next time and just like, you know, if you want to be late for something, then you can go ahead. But you're not gonna make me late for something. This is exactly what my parents did with my older sister when I was little and she got old enough to drive. The family's leaving at 6. We'd love it if you could make it. People who are constantly late like this have zero respect for anyone else. Edit, not the a-hole. And sometimes this is just how you have to manage to be on time to things living with a chronically late person. Not the a-hole. This seems like an ongoing problem. I love the way you handled it. I did the same thing with an ex, but we are no longer together because his time was more precious than mine. That's the thing, right? It's like, I'm sorry. Do you not care about other people's time? Is your time the only thing that matters? I will never excuse people that are late, especially people who are constantly late. He would take an hour and a half to get ready. I would still be waiting for him, and I just didn't want to end up waiting for someone who doesn't care about my time and only about themselves. The funny thing is he only lived 10 minutes from me. You didn't get mad, you left. You told her what you were doing and she decided to keep shopping. As someone who is never late and cannot understand why people are late, you're not the a-hole. And if you make excuses for the girlfriend, it means you have to stop being late. I'm tired of your... I'm projecting a little bit, not gonna lie. There's like at least 3 or 4 people that I can think of in my head that are always late that I need to do this to. Am I the a-hole for making a joke about my brother's affair at his wedding? I already hate it. Oh, I hate it. Ugh. When I was in elementary school, I was the type of kid who got disrupts class often on their report card, so I never focused much on school. My district had this system where they would pair high schoolers with younger kids to help them with school, etc. And my mom made me do that after I kept getting in trouble. So my tutor was a freshman, Abby, and she would come to our house after school to help me with my homework or something. I barely remember. My brother John was the same age as Abby, so they would talk to each other and end up dating. She stopped tutoring me officially after like a month, but she was at our house a lot. I also talked to Abby a lot and we were close. Fast forward 10 years, Abby and John got married and had a kid together. 5 years later, John tells me that he's getting a divorce because he's met someone new. It sucked because I liked John and Abby together a lot, but whatever. He tells me he had an affair with his new girlfriend. Also sucks, and I told him he shouldn't have hurt Abby like that, but whatever. I also asked Abby how she was doing, and she wasn't doing well, but she told me she didn't want her to be the reason I have a bad relationship to my brother. However, 2 months before the wedding, Abby calls me and tells me that my brother's girlfriend has been harassing her nonstop. She showed me the text, and his girlfriend was saying some pretty disturbing things about how she's so much better than Abby, taunting Abby for having to share custody of her kid now, just making fun of her and bullying her. I told my brother about this and he said he would ask his girlfriend about it. A month later, I asked him if he ever brought it up and he said he did, but saw nothing wrong with the text, which pissed me off. I confirmed he saw the text that I saw. Abby apologized for involving me in the whole thing in the first place and encouraged me to still go to the wedding, where my brother asked me to make a speech. The speech went well until I made a joke. The gist of the joke was me turning to his new wife and telling her that if she's learned anything from this, she should know that my brother will never let his wife stop him from finding the love of his life. Ooh. This got my brother and his wife really mad and they kicked me out shortly after. And my brother has been calling, texting me nonstop, yelling at me. Am I the a-hole? All right, I appreciate the context. I think that your heart was in the right place. However, I don't think the wedding was the correct place to bring it up. I think you could have made that point elsewhere. I'm not gonna lie, I would have paid to see that. And I understand that you were defending your friend, but a wedding is not the right place to bring up an affair. I mean, do it, go ahead, but don't be mad when people think you're an a-hole about it. That's how I feel. I think that you are an a-hole. But let's see what Reddit had to say. You know how vigilantes are technically in the wrong, but we all cheer them on anyway? You're the a-hole, but high five. Yeah, like you're a lovable a-hole, you know? I read the title and thought, really? You're not sure? And then laughed at the joke, so maybe we're all a-holes? Maybe a little bit. I think that's possible, yeah. I think there's a line between a-hole and disturber. They are closely related, but I think they are both their own distinct subspecies. My personal theory is that after a normal individual's many interactions with an a-hole, there is some sort of DNA mutation which changes the regular individual into a disturber. Yeah, it was a really great joke and all, but he didn't think this through. He shot himself in the foot. He set a bar high and now has to find a way to top that before his brother's next wedding. You are the a-hole, but I still like you. Would I be the a-hole for dumping my girlfriend after she ignored my calls and messages and went clubbing while I was undergoing emergency surgery? All rise for the Honorable Judge Charlotte, whom I I, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 22 female, have been together for 5 years. I already don't like the sound of this. We've been together since high school, and until recently, I've always considered her to be my future wife. I even bought a ring and was planning on proposing over the coming months. Ooh. Well, last weekend, it was my girlfriend's best friend's birthday. She and her friends booked a private lounge at a club. Obviously, I didn't go since 1, I wasn't invited, and 2, I hate clubbing or anything associated with that. I was actually looking forward to spending an evening alone and just binging Netflix or something. Well, my girlfriend left at around 9 p.m. and I just crashed on the couch and watched some YouTube. I hope you watched some Charlotte Dobre. No? Okay. Well, around 11 p.m., I started to feel this distinct stomach pain. The same pain you experience when someone hits you in the nuts. Can't say I've ever experienced that, but I will take your word for it that it's very painful. The pain just kept getting worse until I was basically stuck in the fetal position on the couch. Again, initially, I thought the pain would go, but then I pulled down my pants, and it felt like my right hammocker was starting to swell. The moment I tried to get up and grab my phone to inspect whatever the was happening to me, I just collapsed to the floor. That was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Imagine being pelted in the nuts over and over again. I did manage to crawl to the table next to the couch and get my phone. I immediately called trying my girlfriend, but she declined my call. I then texted her that something was wrong and she should come home immediately. I just put my phone down and started throwing up because of the pain. After throwing up for like a minute, it felt like the pain started to cool down and I grabbed my phone again, and that's when I saw her response. She just replied with a, "What is it?" annoyed emoji. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ooh, I really don't like where this is going. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm gonna reserve judgment until I hear the rest of it, but like right now I'm just like, I tried calling her again, but as expected, she declined again. What part of something is wrong, you need to come home, do you not understand?
I will get home when I get home!
Maybe she didn't understand like how serious the situation was. I then texted her that I need to go to the hospital. Okay, now she does. She then asked for what, and I just replied with my balls hurt. Then I dialed for emergency services. I explained my situation to the emergency responder, and she asked if there was somebody that could drive me to the hospital, and I stupidly said yes. Ooh. I thought my girlfriend would be home soon and she would drive me to the hospital.
Well, you thought wrong.
That to me doesn't sound like it's like you need immediate help, but you did say that you need to go to the hospital. I felt embarrassed to call an ambulance because my balls hurt. After I told the emergency responder this, she even told me she would call me again in 10 minutes to make sure I was being driven to the hospital. I then put my phone down and went back to vomiting on our carpet. After the pain went away for a bit, I checked my phone and saw my girlfriend just responded with laughing emojis. Maybe she thought you were joking? I literally don't understand. I don't think she's being like malicious right now, but then again, like, you did tell her that you need to go to the hospital. I tried again to call her, but as expected, she declined again. She texted me that this wasn't time to play games, and she told me that if I texted or called her again, she would block my number. Ooh. I again tried calling her, but she declined again, and when I tried calling her a second time, she actually blocked me. Buddy, she blocked you? Okay, no. Like, it's one thing to think that somebody is joking. It's another to like block their number. You must have felt so helpless in this moment. My goodness. I went back to curling up on the floor and now I started shivering. Ooh. At this point, I didn't care about being embarrassed and just called emergency services and asked for an ambulance. It felt like an eternity, but the ambulance eventually came and rushed me to the hospital. I don't remember much of surgery since I was sedated, but I remember waking up eventually and my right hammocker was being stitched together. Oh, brother. Ooh. The doctor informed me I had a testicular torsion, and I was extremely lucky to reach the hospital in time. Oh, bestie. I could have easily been forced to surgically remove my hammocker. I checked my phone and saw the missed calls and messages my girlfriend left me. In summary, she came home from clubbing and smelled the vomit in our apartment. When she saw the vomit on our carpet, she got mad and tried searching the apartment to find me. When she realized I wasn't there, only then did it hit her that I was actually being serious. I just texted her which hospital I was staying in and my room number and then went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and saw my girlfriend sleeping on a couch next to my bed. Okay, yeah, this is a really big miscommunication. But then again, if you can't rely on your significant other to take you seriously when you're saying that you're going to the hospital, who can you rely on?
Saul Goodman.
After she woke up, she started bombarding me with apologies. Okay, she thought I was joking and that I was trying to ruin their night, etc. I didn't have the energy to argue, I just kept quiet. I was beyond hurt by what she did and I wanted to break up with her then and there. The thing is, if she just answered the phone, I feel like you could have been a little bit more specific. But then again, you were also like in pain, so like, I don't know, man, this is just seems like a really huge miscommunication, but also she should have taken you a little more seriously in that moment. Why the f would someone ignore messages when their partner is begging them to come home? Not only that, she stayed in the club until 3 a.m. and didn't consider going home to check on me. She did stay with me in the hospital for the remaining 2 days. I was admitted there and did take good care of me, but I was beyond pissed at her. Ever since coming home yesterday, I've been wanting to dump her, but at the same time, I feel like she genuinely thought I was joking and made a mistake. I feel conflicted and I don't know how to proceed in this situation. Would I be the a-hole if I dumped her? Am I overreacting? Oh goodness, this is a massive miscommunication, but like, if you haven't cried wolf, so to speak, if you haven't like been kind of like controlling when she goes out to the club, like you said that you don't like going clubbing. So that's why in the back of my head, it's like, okay, have you done this before? Have you tried to get her to come home? Have you guilt tripped her, etc.? But if you haven't done that, then I don't understand why she's annoyed and she wouldn't take that seriously, especially with the, I need to go to the hospital. Not only that, also in the comments, you called her like repeatedly, you know what I mean? Like if it's one text, that's one thing, but you called her over and over and over again. Let's say your phone's on do not disturb. If you get like 3 missed calls, even your iPhone knows it might be a good idea to notify that person that there's an emergency. So if your iPhone knows that, it's not even human. How do you not know that, Missy? Not the a-hole, not walking a total 10 minutes to check on your significant other after your text is nuts, unless you've cried wolf before. That's true. Like there could have been something in her head that's like, oh, he's probably kidding, but maybe I'll just go check on him. If it's a 5-minute walk, you can be there and back in like a few minutes. And I understand it was her best friend's birthday, but at the same time, like, what if you were wrong? Better to be safe than sorry. I don't like that she didn't take you seriously. Is this breakup worthy? I don't think she did it with malicious intent. She was there with you in the hospital when she found out that it was a serious thing. I genuinely don't know. But thank goodness for us, we have an update. First of all, I would like to clear up some misconceptions brewing in the comment section of my last post. No, I've never pulled any malicious pranks on my girlfriend to get her to come home early from a night out or anything. Neither do I have an issue with her going out as long as she doesn't come home at like 6 a.m. And no, I've never blown up her phone like that while she was out with her friends. We usually go out together since we share the same friend groups. Here are mine and her messages from WhatsApp in order since people thought I just texted her my balls hurt or something. Okay, this is super helpful. This is super helpful. All right, I appreciate the context. Me, decline my first 2 calls. Her name, please come home. Something is wrong. Her, question mark, question mark, question mark. Can't talk right now. What is it? Annoyed emoji. Me, tried calling her again. I need to go to the hospital. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. What? Again, tried calling her twice. My balls hurt. Please come home now. Something is wrong. Her, crying, laughing emojis, rolling on the floor. Trying her again twice after calling emergency services. Her, I swear, don't bother me again or I'm blocking you. Let me enjoy my night out. Me, tried calling her again twice and got blocked. The block, ooh, I hate that. At this point, the pain was too bad to try anything with her anymore and I just called an ambulance. Her next message after unblocking me at 2 a.m. My name, why the is there vomit in the living room and where the are you? Why is the front door unlocked even if you left somewhere? She then went into a full mental breakdown as she realized I was being serious about going to the hospital over 70 messages. Yes, it was stupid of me to expect her to drive to the hospital since she was drinking, but again, in that type of pain, you don't think clearly. I'll allow it, okay? I think I needed her more for moral support and I did it out of pure instinct. Yeah, that's crazy that you called her in a moment where you really, really needed her. Like before you even called the ambulance, you called your girlfriend. I would feel rejected and you're thinking about being with this person forever in sickness and in health. You know, let's all be clear on this. 2 missed calls is kind of like, okay, it's not that serious. No messages, nothing. But if you get 3 missed calls from someone in the middle of the night or 3 missed calls at any time, I think it's safe to say that there's something wrong and you should take that seriously. Or maybe you have like a stalker girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that, in which case like this doesn't really apply. But obviously you catch my drift. Not immediately calling an ambulance was also stupid of me. I was in a lot of pain, but stupidly at the time, I thought whatever I was going through would eventually calm down and driving to the hospital would be better than calling an ambulance. Also, in hindsight, me being embarrassed about calling an ambulance over my balls was definitely also really stupid. I do think though that this is like the mentality of a lot of people. Like, I think that we are reluctant to like take our health issues seriously. I think that if you have any doubts and you're like just even the slightest bit concerned, obviously I live in Canada, so I can go to the hospital, but like,
You're pointing fingers. No.
better to be safe than sorry. The amount of mental gymnastics some of you did in my comments to paint me as some sort of dweeb or emotionally needy person for bothering my girlfriend was truly mind-blowing to me. Okay, no, I don't think you're emotionally needy. I just think that honestly, this might be a dumpable offense. I feel like I agree with you. I think not taking you seriously in that moment, even if it was a miscommunication, would really, really hurt. Now for the update. I'm doing much better now. Well, I'm glad to hear it, my dear. Not being able to go to work for the next 3 weeks is definitely a bummer. I work for my dad's construction company and my job requires lifting a lot of heavy weights. I'm also prohibited from having giggity for the next 2-3 weeks as well. I might have also developed some trauma due to the pain. I randomly get the same sensation again and it's driving me nuts. I'm glad we can joke about it. I'm glad that we're at a stage where we can joke. Yay. As for me and my girlfriend, it's complicated. As so many of you and my mom told me, 5 years is definitely a long time to be just throwing away without having a proper conversation with her. So I did just that. I told her how hurt I felt by everything. I mentioned the following points. Her ignoring my messages and declining my calls. Yes, clubs are loud, but where I'm from, there are smoking areas where you can have a conversation over the phone. Blocking me after I tried calling her. Ooh, it's the blocking for me. 3, not checking on me once, even though the club she went to was a 5-minute walk away from our apartment. 4, her being angry about the vomit instead of being concerned. After hearing that, she got defensive and told me I could have conveyed my situation better, and she genuinely thought I was joking. She was drunk and wasn't thinking clearly. She also told me that it couldn't have been that painful and I was over exaggerating. Okay, no, like, bro, they cut up your balls and they cut up your balls, dude. This for me, okay, she's minimizing your pain again. You went to the hospital. You're not allowed to do anything for like 3 weeks. And that now that you've had a conversation and the miscommunication has been somewhat resolved, so to speak, she's still minimizing your experience. I then told her, yes, I could have phrased my messages better and I apologized for that, but then I described the pain I was in and I told her I barely had the strength to text her, let alone send a detailed description of what was happening to me, and definitely couldn't think straight throughout everything. After hearing what I said, she started crying and apologizing for what she did. She told me if she knew how serious it was, we wouldn't have been having this conversation. She then apologized for her being mad over the vomit. According to her, she was drunk and tired and was expressing frustration. I then asked her why she thought I was joking and if she was cheating on me because this was seriously out of character for her. Oh, that's an interesting take. Ooh. Hence why I immediately trusted her with this. She started crying and she looked like I just her in the face. She told me that she just thought I was being insecure about her being in a club with a bunch of guys. Like, were they at the table or they were just present in the same room?
Let's not get bogged down in detail.
And no, she wasn't cheating on me and would never do something like that. We hugged for a solid 10 minutes. The next part was really hard for me. I told her I need some space to gather my thoughts and told her that she needs to stay with her parents for the time being. She immediately started having a mental breakdown and asked if I was breaking up with her. I told her I wasn't sure and needed time to see if I still trusted her after all of this, and what she did was beyond disrespectful. How could I trust someone with my life after they pulled something like this? I then told her that we are young and this mess was mostly caused by our immaturity. This entire situation was an important life lesson for the both of us, regardless if we stayed together. After begging a bit more, she then put her head down and started packing a few essentials. Before leaving, she told me she'd be willing to do anything to make up for this and that I could take as much time as I needed. She then gave me a big kiss and left. That was 2 days ago, and this is where we currently stand. I still give her updates on my healing, but besides that, we don't contact each other. I'm really torn right now. I still don't have that trust in her, but her owning up to her mistake shows that she she knows she f***ed up and is remorseful. I mean, she did eventually own up to it. Eventually. But she was still kind of minimizing your experience. This is definitely something out of the ordinary for her, but there will have to be major boundaries and new rules set. I can think of the following. If she blocks me, for anything again, blocking herself from ever seeing me again. 2, ignoring my messages will not be tolerated anymore. 3, if she goes out alone again, she has to pick up if I call, regardless of the situation. 4, as many of you suggested, having an emergency code like hospital or something would probably have to be implemented. I'm not going to abuse any of these boundaries, but I just want peace of mind knowing my partner has my best interests at heart when she's physically not around me, but I don't know. The fact that you even have to like state these things though, like, I don't know. Those are a lot of rules for something that should be non-negotiable. Time in doesn't mean you need to stay with someone. That just delays the ending of it if you think you can't get past not trusting her. You would not be an if you chose to end it. You would also not be one if you decided to give it a go. You need to go with your gut. I personally would have a hard time getting past someone blocking me. I'm glad that we're all on the same page about the blocking because like, what the like, what the actual that level of petty would be too much for me. To me, that does not imply a partnership, and I need a partnership with my significant other. That's what's up. No lies were told. This October will be my 30th anniversary of getting married, and if he did block me or did not pick up when I had made multiple calls, that would be a trust broken, and I'm not sure I'd be able to get past that. And it's not just about not answering the calls, it's also because you genuinely needed her support in that moment. Like, it's one thing if you're like calling and calling, you know, there's like toxicity there and like you can't answer the calls because you need mental space. It's another thing to not answer calls when your partner needs help. People think that they need to stay with someone or give it another go because they've spent a long time with that person. Yeah, I see that, but also, why was the long time that you spent with that person not taken seriously by her? You guys were about to get engaged and spend the rest of your lives together. Like, I think if the person has shown you who they are, don't waste more of your time on them. A partner shouldn't be blocking a person or not answering calls. If OP's girlfriend has answered even one of his calls, he could have explained. Girlfriend shows she doesn't care about him enough to make sure he's okay. I've been married 15 years and with my partner for 20, it's never ever crossed either of our minds to block each other or ignore each other's calls. And even when we've had the occasional fight, I would not be with someone that could act that childishly or show that they cared that little about me. Well then, it's settled. You are not the a-hole, my dear.
It is decided.
But obviously I want to know, like, is this something that can be resolved? Can this trust be rebuilt? Let me know in the comments. My husband, Peter, 29 male, and I, 27 female, have been married for about 3 years. We only have one child together and I was pregnant with our second. I'm Western Canadian while he is from Germany. We lived in Canada for a long time, but because of inflation, moving back to Germany seemed like a better option for us. We bought a nice house in Hanover where Peter is from. The day after our flights to Germany, we all visited Peter's family. This was the second time I have seen them. The first was at our wedding. They greeted us and brought us inside of the house, fussing over my son. We had dinner and soon we left the house, wanting to settle into our new home. Oh God, did you catch them talking shit about you? Is that what happened? Oh my God. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is juicy. We visited Peter's family often over the next few months, but I had started to realize that they would speak about me in German. I knew it. I knew it. They would make so rude comments on my hair and makeup. Questioning my fashion choices, and overall they were just very unkind to me. Oh bestie, absolutely not. They also said mean things about my pregnant belly, which I was already insecure about. Man, like, they can be mad about the fact that you knew they could speak German, but also you just caught them being to you, okay? They're mad because you caught them. I said I hated how my every choice was judged. He told me he would talk to his family. The next time we went to his parents' house, there were no more mean comments. For about 3 months, it was like nothing ever happened. I gave birth to a perfect baby girl that we named Lilith. Peter's family was very upset when they heard the name. I was gonna say Lilith is an interesting choice. If you didn't know, Lilith means If you didn't know, Lilith Why do I have a lisp today, guys? If you didn't know, Lilith means ghosts or of the night. We didn't pick this name because of its meaning, but because it's a name every girl in my family has had for many years. My middle name is Lilith, along with my mom's, my grandma's, and even my great-grandma's. For a while, I didn't visit my in-laws. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith. I'm just gonna say it with a lisp now, from now on. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith. And for those of you who are like, you're making fun of people with lisp, Charlotte, I have a lisp, okay? I wear a retainer. I take it out when I'm filming, but I have a lisp. What, you think I got these pearly whites naturally? No, bestie. Naturally, I look like a vampire.
I am Dracula.
Yesterday, we saw them again. It was our mother-in-law's birthday. As soon as we showed up, things started to go badly. Everyone wanted to hold Lilith, which made my mother-in-law upset because people weren't paying attention to her and made me overwhelmed. I didn't want people to hold her. I was going through a pretty bad postpartum depression, and it was still pretty early to see people. I let people look at her, but declined when anyone asked to hold her. During dinner, I heard sister-in-law talking to my mother-in-law in German. I heard her complaining about how she couldn't hold my baby. My sister-in-law even had the audacity to call me, and I quote, a fat, ugly, hokey addict. I turned to my sister-in-law and mother-in-law and told them off in German. Nice. 9! I basically said that I've always known what they have said about me, but calling me names was the last straw. I also mentioned how I have known German for almost my whole life. The table instantly blew up. People were yelling at me because apparently this was all my fault. Ooh, the gaslighting! The gaslighting! You reap what you sow. I mean, listen, it was just your husband's family that didn't know, okay, right? I'm hoping we get a little more context, to be honest. It's one thing if you didn't tell your husband that you could speak German, but it's another thing to not tell his family. I feel like if you're not really close with them, and also you're gonna be living in Germany, you're gonna pick some things up too, right? They're just being stupid. People were yelling at me, so apparently this was all my fault. I left with Peter and we haven't talked to them since. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Are never wrong. I detect some sarcasm. They remain a-holes by refusing to ever take ownership of their words or actions, and so they never have to change. They can be as judgmental and insulting as they want because they're right, and anyone who challenges them must be at fault. So of course it's your fault that they were insulting you. They couldn't possibly have been in the wrong. Sorry you married into a family of no, seriously, like the gaslighting for me, the playing the victim and the pointing the finger instead of just like, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have said those things. Like that's literally all it takes, my God. Nobody thinks they're the villain, all right? Everybody thinks that they're in the right. But sometimes we f up, and listen, that's what makes us human, all right? Just admit it. You were a and now you're twice the because you won't admit that you were a That's very good insight though. You can always spot an a-hole by the fact that they never admit when they're wrong. I honestly wish that you hadn't told them. I wish that you just didn't tell them that you could speak German because like, my goodness, the tea you would have heard. You're living in Germany. Do they really think you wouldn't learn the language of the country where you live? Literally, like even if you hadn't told them up until that point that you speak German, you've been there for months. You know, if you're really, really diligent, I feel like it takes like 6 months to learn a language. You know what I mean? Like if you really care about it and you're living there, right? It's one thing to be traveling, but you're living there. So you would learn German. And they were still talking badly about you in front of your face and calling you names? Absolutely not. They have been extremely rude to you and about you. You are definitely not the a-hole. I think your husband needed to show a shiny spine as soon as they started and should have told them off instantly. That's what I really don't like through all of this. I agree. Yes, he talked to them. However, in the moment, hearing them talk badly about you should have been like a trigger for him. Like he should have gotten really upset. You shouldn't have had to tell him to talk to them, okay? I feel like your husband doesn't really have your back in this moment. I know it's hard because it's his family, etc., but still. Am I the a-hole for charging my roommates a, quote, clean air fee to make things more fair?
Clean air fee? Sounds like you had some gassy roommates. Maybe we need a clean air fee.
I like how you hear
house.
clean air and it honestly just makes you think of farts. Hello, Reddit. I don't usually use this website, but my roommates told me to post on here in hopes that some outside perspectives will help us settle the situation, hence the brand new account. Ooh, I don't know if people are going to be on your side, buddy, but we'll see. The three of us live in a 3x3 and split costs equally 3 ways, for the most part. I have a slightly bigger bedroom, so I pay a bit more than my other 2 roommates in rent. However, at the moment, I feel like I'm putting more work into maintaining the environment that we all get to enjoy, and I should be compensated fairly for that. Okay.
Okay.
I have already seen this, just FYI. I'm like, I can't even, just wait. Just wait. I have over 100 different houseplants throughout the apartment, including shared spaces like the living room that I spend hours every week and thousands of dollars caring for, purchasing, and maintaining.
100 houseplants? That's ridiculous. How big is this place? Are you living in a greenhouse? I have enough trouble watering my 3 plants.
You don't, I water them.
Point proven.
The presence of these plants contributes to the cleanliness of the air that we breathe in our home. You see where this guy's going? You see where this is going?
I'm not gonna jump to conclusions. But sounds a little cray-cray.
With so many plants in the house, our home air quality is obviously superior to those without house plants. I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference. Like, I think you need to have like specific, like, see that snake plant? I think snake plants help purify the air. But other than that, I don't think house plants make that much of a difference.
Yeah, especially if like you're in an old apartment. There's a lot of mold and mildew and doo-doo.
Source, trust me, bro. Because I put so much money and so many hours of work into these plants, I mean, that's kind of your choice, buddy. I feel like my roommates should contribute to that financial burden by paying what we would call a clean air fee.
You realize how insane you sound?
This is ridiculous! Something reasonable like $25 a month from each roommate would really help offset the costs of things like fertilizer, new pots, soil, etc.
I'm so proud of you.
They're your plants.
They're
man.
literally your plants. It's your choice. It's kind of like having a dog and then expecting your roommates to pay for your dog food. It's not like that at all, but like, you get what I mean? You get where I'm going?
Do you have something to say? The first time I asked Charlotte to buy dog food, she was like, "It's your dog." It's like, now he is your son.
He is also my adopted son, yes.
That's actually a great analogy.
And the time I put into taking care of these plants. I think this is an incredibly fair agreement for my roommates, as they get the benefit of living in a house with organically clean air and not doing any of the work. They think I'm being unreasonable and selfish. Yes, I mean, I would maybe get rid of some plants. Like, who has 100 houseplants? I told them I would be willing to compromise and not charge them the fee if they would hold their breath between...
Are you kidding me?
If they would hold their breath between the front door and going to their bedrooms. Buddy!
Are you joking me?
Buddy! Which isn't even far. It's not like we live in a huge apartment. So they aren't breathing the plant cleaned air they aren't paying
I'm already hyperventilating when I have to take a shit, you know? Like, can you imagine, like... Oh man, that is so ridiculous.
You're ridiculous. They think that's stupid, but have yet to propose another reasonable compromise. You can move out.
How about you just fucking do it yourself?
Get rid of some houseplants if it's too much work for you, but don't expect other people to pay for your choices.
What happens when you, like, maybe someone moves in with you and you make them pay for your houseplants?
Give me rent.
So basically, that's where we're at. I'm the one who everyone gives rent money to, and then I write a check to the landlord. So if we don't figure this out by next time rent is due, it's going to be a problem. How can I get my roommates to see/understand my side of this? You won't, because it's delusional. You are drinking the Delulu lemonade.
You shop at the Lululemon. I can see where you're coming from, though. Like, I understand you put a lot of work into these plants, and I'm sure they're gorgeous, but hold your breath to go to the bathroom. Are you...
You're ridiculous.
I'm so curious, like, how you fit all those plants in that apartment.
I've had roommates remark that they can hear the music I listen to in my bedroom. I've never thought to charge them a nominal entertainment fee.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Isn't it also basically bollocks that plants do that much for the air as well? In a house/flat, there's no way they purify the air to that extent. This is what I'm saying is, like, I don't actually think it does that much. I think maybe specific plants help, like that snake plant.
When you have people over, do you charge cover? Welcome to my place. Just leave, pay what you can at the door.
Can they charge a taking up shared space with your plants fee? Your plants are basically your roommates at this point. I feel like your plants should be paying rent. They're living in your house rent free.
It's tough to find an affordable pot in this city these days.
Depends what kind of pot.
You're talking about the devil's lettuce, aren't you?
You're the a-hole. You are being a massive a-hole and so unreasonable. Like, what the actual hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know how, like, serious this is, man, but maybe you have good intentions, but you sound insane.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're a nice person, but, like, this is ridiculous. I would be out of that apartment very quickly.
I would feel weird about sharing a space with someone like that.
Yeah.
Moving on! How do I inform this woman that she's not my girlfriend? I am in a peculiar situation. This woman, we will call Rachel, is under the impression that we are in a relationship.
What gave her that impression?
This has been going on for 4 years.
For 4 years?
4 years. I've never asked her to be my girlfriend, but there was a miscommunication at some point. Wow, you let this go on for 4 years and you haven't had a discussion about it? Buddy.
There's nothing to discuss.
Now, I won't lie, I played into it a lot and I shouldn't have. You don't find that funny?
No, it's just like, it's outrageous.
It is
what
outrageous. I did all the couples things all couples do, but never asked her to be my girlfriend at all. Maybe it was something that she didn't feel needed a conversation after 4 years with someone. Unless they say otherwise, you're in a relationship, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't wanna.
I've never referred to her as my girlfriend. I didn't stop her from calling me her boyfriend or wanting to celebrate our anniversary.
Or the engagement ring that you got this girl, apparently.
In my mind, however, I was single. Does she know that? So when I hear her ask about marriage or moving in together, it makes no sense. I figured she would one day realize I never officially asked her and then realize it before things got out of hand, but she never did. Oh dear. Oh Lord.
Oh my God, dude. What is happening right now?
Basically, you've been kind of probably being you've probably been cheating, but you're not in a relationship. I'm sorry, dude, but you got to have an adult conversation with this person. Like,
how have you not talked about this in 4
I don't
years?
know. Yeah, because he wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. That's why he hasn't talked about it. Everything was fine until about a month ago I met this beautiful woman. There's this food truck that isn't far from my house. I've asked her for her number and we hit it off. Things are getting serious and I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend soon. You sound like you're a child.
Things are getting very serious, and I'm gonna invite her over for some Netflix and chill, and then I gotta ask her to be my girlfriend.
We're gonna watch Miss Rachel and chill.
I'm gonna watch Miss Rachel and chill, and I ask her to be my girlfriend after.
Before I do that, I need to address the elephant in the room with Rachel. Miss Rachel? What were they doing for 4 years that she thinks marriage is on the table and he doesn't even think they're in a relationship despite admittedly doing all the things that couples do? I think what's going on here is that you were in a relationship, but now that you've met somebody else, you're kind of trying to justify your actions in meeting somebody else. Oh, I never said I wanted to be exclusive.
Buddy, that works for like maybe 6 months.
It worked. Are you admitting to it?
No, I'm just saying, like, sometimes it's on and off for a few months. 6 months max, I'm saying.
6 months max,
4
yeah.
years? Yeah. You guys probably just sort of went on a break and then kind of started, again. And I don't know how she sort of fell into this trap. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that he probably did things to like make her think that, like, if they're acting like couples and they're celebrating their anniversary. I'm sorry, dude, but like...
Anniversary of what? Friendship? I don't know what to say, man. Yes, you are a bit of an a-hole here. More of an airhead, actually.
By his logic, my husband and I aren't married because we never officially were made boyfriend and girlfriend first. Actually, I don't even think we had that conversation. It was just kind of like, so, are we doing this? And this could have meant anything, to be honest.
Well, I think we both said, I'm going to delete my Hinge now.
But even that could be like, you could like meet somebody and be like, well, we never had the conversation, so...
Emotional damage!
I think we kind of did. You were like, and I was like, We were like,
as simple as that. But even then, we didn't officially have that conversation. So technically, we're not in a relationship.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
No, technically not. So wait, actually, since with our witnesses here, what do you think? Should we, do you want to be in a relationship?
I would love to, yeah.
See, the thing is, I've met someone else.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, she's really cute.
She's really cute. She watched Miss Rachel with you.
Yeah, but it's been great, so thank you for everything.
Oh, yeah? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Are you gonna like move out now, or?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm keeping Murph, since I pay for the dog food and stuff. He can't commit to an actual relationship yet wants to ask out someone else. Did he hear himself?
It's a bit of a cop-out, man. Just have an adult conversation and say, look, fine, we were in a relationship for 4 years and I'm breaking up with you.
If you ever tell her, well, we never actually had the discussion, I would be so livid if someone that I was dating after 4 years told me, well, we were never exclusive. Buddy, heads would roll.
We weren't official on Facebook.
You need to have a discussion with this woman and acknowledge that she was your girlfriend and break up with her.
I can't believe you posted this on Reddit, bro. You're probably getting skewered.
Dude, honestly, and she did post an update that says, for clarification purpose, I was wrong. I'm remorseful and disgusted with my actions. I know people think I'm not remorseful, but that's not true at all. What I did was disgusting. You said it.
It's more just like ignorant. I'm sure you're not a terrible person. You just
It was a cop-out. It sounds like that was you gaslighting us into thinking that you weren't in a relationship.
You probably just were with this girl. Maybe you just didn't think you could do better or something like that, or you were settling in your own eyes or something. I don't know. But you have to be honest with yourself. And you don't want to waste someone's time. So if you know you don't want to be with someone, get out of it. Don't waste their time, because now that's 4 years that she can't have back. And now she's going to have trust issues with people. Or she might scare her next boyfriend and be like, the first date, Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? And he might be like, ugh.
No, I think that you need to like acknowledge to her and like acknowledge that you kind of wasted this woman's time. You break up with her like a grown ass man.
Those are the hardest conversations ever. But I think when you have them afterwards, you just feel great. In a sense of like you're proud of what you did because it's the respectful and right thing to do.
It is respectful. It's yeah. Don't waste any more of this.
Not over the phone. Don't be a coward.
Yeah, come on.
In person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel attacked.
Maybe over coffee, actually. It's better.
Be an adult. Like, it's not even men, you know? Like, everybody needs to learn how to have these, like, difficult conversations. Like, don't just, like, tiptoe around it.
Whoever you are, if you have to have a conversation, have it. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. But I think, like, even if it's a couple years later or 10 years later, you'll look back and say, I'm proud that I did that. I think we should have a talk, actually. Do you want to go for a coffee?
Am I the a-hole for ignoring my coworker and not talking to her anymore after she rejected me?
Okay.
My coworker, 23 female, and I, 23 male, have been best friends from elementary school. We've been through middle school, high school, and college. We even got accepted into the same college and also got into the same company after graduating, although we work in different fields. It was great because we could have lunches together, and it was also nice having my best friend at work. We dated different people in our life, but never each other, although I did come close to asking her out a few times, but never got the courage to do so. So a couple of weeks ago, I did somehow muster up the courage to ask her out because I genuinely thought over the past few months there was some tension building between us, and we were both single, so I thought I would give it a shot. But she seemed slightly shocked that I asked her out and asked if we could just remain friends because the friendship was really valuable. I was genuinely hurt, and she could probably see it in my face, and she apologized, but I told her it was okay and that there was no need to apologize. The next day, however, I wasn't feeling too great, and when I saw her at work and when she said hi, I just ignored her and went to my desk. I didn't have lunch with her that afternoon and ignored a couple of her texts. This carried on for the next couple of days where I just ignored her, but after that, she stopped saying hi to me. I have noticed her looking at me a few times, but it's like we're complete strangers now. Am I the a-hole?
There's no one is an a-hole in this situation. It's just like
it's awkward.
It's awkward. I actually have been through this a couple of times. I was a romantic, okay? And like if I had a crush on someone, I'd be like, hey, I like you. And they'd be like, I like you too as a friend. And I'm like, ugh. So I've been through this a lot. It's just awkward, you know? Your friendship, if it's strong, if you care about it enough, it'll sort of revitalize over time, but it's gonna be awkward. That's the risk you take when you confront someone that you like, that you're very close with.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that you're hurt and you feel rejected, and it sounds like you've liked this person for a really long time. I get why you feel some type of way. I do. Were you just friends with her because you liked her romantically, or like, did you care about the friendship?
Well, you guys were friends for so long.
Yeah, you were friends for a really long time. I feel like maybe you could communicate to her that it's like, I'm just sort of feeling like I need a little bit of space right now. Could we take like a bit of a breather or something rather than outright ignoring her? Because that's not necessarily fair either. I think it's totally fair for you to need space, but maybe like verbalize that instead of just like ignoring someone that you ate lunch with for years and like went to school with, and you know?
I feel like right when it happens, you're probably feeling so uncomfortable and awkward, and that's totally normal. Just tell her you need a bit of space, and like you've known each other for so long, which almost makes it even more complicated. Because if it's just a stranger, you're just like, okay, well, whatever. But you guys have a long relationship. I imagine your families know each other, probably. It is what it is. And hey, you guys could still end up together at some point. You never know. I mean, maybe one day, like you guys date other people and then one day realize that you're a great fit. You never know. It's just not now. So don't take it the wrong way. Or maybe she genuinely didn't know or didn't think of you that way, and she's now starting to think about it a bit more. And at least you went for it.
You shooted your shotted.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
This is actually quite conflicting, divisive, because like there's a lot of people who are saying he's the a-hole, and there's a lot of people who are saying I totally get where he's coming from. So let's read all the takes, the hot takes.
I don't think it's as polarizing as it needs to be, but okay.
Yeah, you're the a-hole. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be friends with someone who rejects you if the relationship starts or transitions early on to romantic interest. You just dropped a childhood best friend because after 15 plus years of friendship, she didn't view you romantically. Honestly, she's probably more messed up than you are because she knows that a friendship she valued was never actually real. And just a long con to sleep with her.
No, that's not true at all. That's just a very cynical way of looking at it. The long con? Oh, Oh my God.
But hey, listen, if something as simple as like she doesn't want to be involved romantically, he saw that and heard that, and then all of a sudden now the friendship isn't worth anything to him.
He just put all his cards on the table and she said no, and it's awkward.
Yeah, it is awkward.
That's a very like cynical way of looking at it, I think.
Yeah, it is cynical, but I think if he wants nothing to do with the friendship anymore, he's the a-hole. If all he needs is some space, he's not the a-hole.
Maybe he just needs to get over the fact that it's going to be awkward for a while. And your friendship will heal. The long con, bro, they've been friends since elementary school.
Okay, so here's an addition to that comment. What a non-a-hole would have done is to let her know that you still want to be friends and you just need a little time to get over the awkwardness.
Of course, that's the helicopter view. But again, when you're in these things, the initial response is the inner child or whatever is just like hurt. You're like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed. Why did I do that? I ruined everything. She hates me, all this stuff. Maybe I'm more of an empathic kind of person. I see what you're saying. I see what this person is also saying. I don't think it's like that. It's one thing if they were coworker friends who became close and then he's like, hey, you want to date? And she said no. And he's like, you. That's one thing, but they've been friends for years.
So OP responded to that and said, it wasn't about sleeping with her. It's just that we had so many shared interests and memories together and we vibed so well. So I thought there could have been something more than a friendship with us, but I obviously miscalculated it. I don't really want to be friends with her anymore. It's not her fault. I just want to heal emotionally, and not being friends with her and cutting her off completely helps me in my healing process. I mean, you're mourning a relationship that never existed.
He's had a crush on her for a long time.
Yeah, but she didn't know that. That's not her fault.
Maybe just every time he sees her, he just sees like a failed opportunity. Maybe he's just like really being really hard on himself. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna throw his friendship away, but he just needs time. Like, I think like they'll become friends again.
I hope so. Agree to disagree. Honestly, maybe with this one. I get where you're coming from too. Like, it sucks to be rejected. Like, I get it. I think in this circumstance though, if it was someone that you've known for like 15 years, it kind of sucks that you're throwing away a friendship and you only saw that friendship as like a, maybe you should have clearly needed something more concrete than just maybe some tension that you thought was there before you ruined a friendship.
Maybe this is like the opposite of the other am I the a-hole of like in his mind, like they were like destined to be together and they weren't, but he was building it up in his mind that they were in this relationship for so long. I don't know. Maybe I've been there before.
Yeah, I think we all have. I've definitely wanted to like block people that have rejected me, but not necessarily friends that I've known for a really long time.
But how old is this guy?
23 and 24.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're both 23.
You guys are young.
It seems like a really immature response.
Yeah, it is. Just give these, like, you're 23. You'll be fine.
Honestly, this may be a hot take, but I get it. I haven't been in this situation, but I very much understand that he'd want to take time off from this friendship after knowing her for X amount of years, putting his whole heart on the line by asking her out, then getting rejected. It's awkward, it's embarrassing, it hurts. He just needs time and healing. I don't think anyone is the a-hole.
It's an old friendship, they're young. They don't quite know how to talk to each other about it yet. I think about the relationships I was in university. I don't think it's fair to call this kid an ass, even though he's like 23. I mean, you're old enough to make your own decisions, but it may take a year, may take 5, but they'll come back to each other. They just need to mature a bit more. And maybe the way he handled it wasn't right, but I don't think he's an ass. And I don't think she is either. I think they're just young.
So, no one is the ass, according to Mike Ricci. I kind of think that he could have handled it differently. I want to know what you guys think. Is he being an a-hole? Do you understand where he's coming from? Let me know in the comments.
I feel like this is the most divided we've ever been.
Totally.
But it's not like a controversial thing. It's just...
By the way, we can have differing opinions and not be mad at each other, just so you know. Just in case you watch some of these videos and you get mad because someone has a different opinion. It's okay. We're still gonna make out later. So if we can get over it, so can you.
I may get hate. I don't really care. I can understand why he did what he did. Could he have handled it better? Yes.
There we go. All right.
Good.
Subscribe.